Okay, so you know those books that are just like the perfect escape.
Hmm.
A little heartwarming romance and just enough drama to keep you hooked.
Totally.
Well, I gotta say, Fallen for the Single Daddy
Yeah.
definitely hit the spot.
Oh, for sure. I loved this one. I thought the author did such a great job with,
Yeah.
taking those familiar tropes like the single dad and the nanny falling in love,
Yes.
but like weaving in these deeper layers of vulnerability and resilience. It's not just a fluffy romance.
Right.
It's like there's real emotional depth to it.
Exactly. It's not just like a beach read. You know, I mean, who doesn't love a single dad trying to juggle work and parenting and, maybe finding love again?
Yeah.
But this story takes it further right.
Yeah.
Gray, our single dad, is still so wounded by his ex, walking out on him and their daughter, Emery.
And then you have Callie the nanny, who is also carrying some serious baggage.
Oh, yeah.
She's escaped a cult and dealt with a creepy, manipulative former employer.
I know.
So they're both coming into this relationship with like walls up.
Oh, absolutely. Trying to protect themselves.
Totally. And that's what makes the connection so compelling.
Yes.
They're drawn to each other despite their reservations, and watching them navigate those early stages of attraction
Yes.
while trying to remain professional. Oh, the tension.
It's so good. The push and pull is so well done. You can feel their chemistry, like the way they're constantly battling their own desires.
Yes.
And the fear of getting hurt again.
Yeah. And I love how it's like a slow burn, right?
Yeah.
It just keeps building.
Totally.
Okay, so let's talk about Callie's arrival. I was hooked from the moment she's described taking multiple trains and buses.
Yeah.
And even walking part of the way to get to the interview.
Oh, my gosh. Yes.
That right there tells you everything you need to know about her determination.
Absolutely. It speaks volumes about her character.
Mm-hmm.
She's resourceful.
Mm-hmm.
She's persistent.
Yes.
And she's willing to go the extra mile. And I think that initial dedication is what starts to chip away at Gray's guarded exterior.
Yes.
He can't help but be impressed by her effort. Totally. And not to mention the fact that she's clearly amazing with Emery.
Oh, she's so good with Emery.
The little girl warms up to her so quickly, even learning to spell Callie's name.
I know, it's so sweet.
It's those sweet everyday moments that really solidify their bond.
It's almost as if Emery senses that Callie is exactly what their little family needs.
Oh, yeah.
And then her innocent desire for a mother figure adds this whole other layer of emotional complexity to the story.
Yes.
It's both heartwarming and heartbreaking at the same time.
Absolutely. And as their connection deepens, you see Gray grappling with his feelings. He's attracted to Callie, but he's also terrified of letting anyone in again after what happened with Sloane.
And Callie is equally guarded, right?
Oh, yeah.
Her past experiences have taught her to be wary of men, especially those in positions of power.
Right.
So there's this constant internal conflict.
Yes.
As they try to resist their feelings, knowing the potential consequences.
Totally. And then just as things start to heat up, there are these charged moments that really blur the lines.
Sure. Oh, yes.
Like that early morning scene where Gray is, shall we say, shirtless.
Yes.
And Callie stumbles upon him.
Or that scene at the gym.
Yes.
Where they're both clearly aware of each other's presence.
Yeah.
The unspoken attraction simmering beneath the surface.
Yeah.
These are the moments where the author expertly builds tension and anticipation.
I know. And let's not forget about the accidental fall down the stairs.
Oh, yes.
It's a classic romance trope, but it works perfectly here to create this moment of vulnerability and intimacy.
It's like these small, seemingly insignificant encounters are slowly chipping away at their defenses, forcing them to acknowledge the undeniable connection between them.
Exactly. And then just when you think they might finally give in to their feelings, bam, the X factor comes into play.
Oh, no.
Sloane Gray's ex makes a sudden reappearance, throwing everything into chaos.
I know, that park meeting was so awkward.
So awkward.
You can feel the tension, the lingering hurt and resentment.
Yes.
Especially when Sloane reveals she's dating someone new.
And not just anyone, but Jorge, Callie's creepy, manipulative former employer.
Of all people.
Talk about a tangled web. It's like the author deliberately throws these obstacles in their path to test the strength of their connection.
It definitely raises the stakes and forces both Gray and Callie to confront their pasts.
Yes.
And make some difficult choices.
Okay, the dinner scene at Gray's house is explosive.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You have Sloane's manipulative tactics on full display.
Ah.
Jorge trying to undermine Callie and Gray, finally reaching his breaking point.
It's intense.
That confrontation with Jorge is a pivotal moment for Gray.
Yes.
It's as though all the pent-up anger and frustration he's been carrying finally boils over.
Right.
He stands up for Callie, defending her against Jorge's lies, and it's clear that this is a turning point for him.
It is.
He's no longer willing to be a passive observer.
Mm-hmm.
He's choosing Callie, both in that moment and you start to realize for the long haul.
Yes.
But of course, this is just the beginning of the drama.
Oh, yeah. And throughout all of this, there's Wes Gray's best friend, acting as a voice of reason.
Oh, I love Wes.
He's initially skeptical of Callie.
Yeah.
But he also wants what's best for Gray and Emery.
I love his character because he adds another layer to the story.
Yes.
He's not just a cheerleader for the romance.
Right.
He's looking out for his friend.
Yes.
Trying to make sure he doesn't get hurt again, which, let's be honest, is something we all need in our lives.
Absolutely. His perspective helps to ground the story and remind us that love isn't always easy or straightforward.
Yes.
There are real-world consequences to consider, especially when children are involved.
And speaking of Emery, can we talk about her attempts to play matchmaker?
Oh my gosh.
She is absolutely adorable.
She's so cute.
Scattering flower petals to create a romantic setting for Gray and Callie.
I know.
It's both heartwarming and a little bit heartbreaking.
It really highlights the innocence of childhood and the way children view love and relationships.
Right.
Emery is so desperate for a mother figure, and her efforts to bring Gray and Callie together are both endearing and a reminder of the emotional stakes involved.
Right. It's like she's giving them permission to be happy, even if they're not quite ready to admit it to themselves.
And that's what makes this story so captivating. It's a reminder that sometimes the most profound insights come from the most unexpected sources.
Yes.
Even from a child's perspective.
So we've talked about Callie's arrival, the growing attraction between her and Gray, the explosive dinner scene with the X Factor thrown in, and little Emery's matchmaking attempts. But things are about to get even more complicated.
Oh, no.
Because as much as Gray and Callie try to deny their feelings,
Yeah.
their connection keeps deepening. And let's just say there are certain moments in the story where things get very steamy.
Oh, yes. The author definitely doesn't shy away from the physical attraction between them.
No, she does not.
But it's more than just lust. It's about two people who are starting to trust each other,
Yes.
to let down their guard and embrace the possibility of something real.
And that's where things get really interesting.
Oh, yeah. Stay tuned as we delve into the heart of their relationship, the challenges they face, and the ultimate question, will they find their happily ever after?
Okay, so you know those moments in a book where the characters make a choice?
Oh, yeah.
That just makes you hold your breath.
Totally.
We're about to get into one of those.
Yes.
That point where Gray and Callie cross the line from employer-employee
Yes.
to something more.
It's fascinating because you see how the author builds up to that point.
Huh.
The stolen glances, the accidental touches, the way their conversations seem to linger just a little too long.
Right.
It all culminates in this undeniable act of passion.
And it's so well written. It's not gratuitous or over the top.
Right.
It feels genuine and raw, like a natural culmination of the tension that's been building between them.
Exactly. But what's really interesting is how the author explores the aftermath.
Oh, yeah.
Both Gray and Callie are consumed by guilt and doubt.
Right.
They know they've crossed a line, and the potential consequences for their relationship for Emery are huge.
And it's not just external pressures. They're both wrestling with their own internal demons.
Totally.
Gray's terrified of getting hurt again.
Yeah.
And Callie's convinced she's not worthy of love or happiness. It's almost as if they're sabotaging themselves.
And it's those internal struggles that make them such relatable characters.
Yes.
They're not perfect. They make mistakes.
Right.
But they're also trying to do the right thing. It's that vulnerability that draws you in and makes you root for them, even when they make questionable choices.
Okay, so let's talk about Callie's decision to leave. I have to admit, I was heartbroken when she packed her bags.
Oh, yeah.
It felt like she was running away from something good,
Right.
even though you could understand her reasons.
Her decision to leave is so complex. On the one hand, she's terrified of repeating the patterns of her past,
Right.
of being controlled and manipulated by men. But on the other hand,
Yeah.
there's this undeniable love for Gray and Emery that she's trying to deny.
And she's also grappling with her own sense of worthiness, right? She's been through so much trauma,
Yeah,
and it's like she doesn't believe she deserves a happy ending.
exactly. Her past experiences have left her feeling broken and unworthy, and it takes a lot of courage to overcome that kind of emotional baggage. It's a reminder that sometimes the hardest battles are the ones we fight within ourselves.
And Gray's reaction to Callie leaving is equally heartbreaking. He realizes he's made a huge mistake,
Yes.
that he's let his fear of getting hurt dictate his actions.
Right.
And he's determined to win her back.
His desperation is palpable.
Oh, totally.
He literally drops everything and races into the city to find her, which, let's be honest, is a pretty romantic gesture.
I know.
But it's also a sign of how much he's grown. He's finally letting go of his past and fighting for what he wants.
That scene where he's driving through the city, desperately searching for her, had me on the edge of my seat.
Oh my God.
It's like he's finally woken up to the fact that he could lose her forever, and he's not going to let that happen without a fight.
And it's interesting because it's not just about winning her back. It's about proving to himself that he's capable of love, of commitment, of being a better man than he was in the past.
But the reunion isn't all sunshine and roses, right?
Right.
Callie is still hesitant, understandably wary of trusting him completely. They have a lot to work through if their relationship is going to survive.
Their reconciliation is a slow burn filled with emotional hurdles and the lingering shadows of their past. They have to rebuild trust, learn to communicate openly and honestly, and face some pretty daunting external challenges.
Oh, absolutely. And then there's Emery, who is caught in the middle of all this drama.
Oh, yeah.
It's heartbreaking to think about the impact their choices have on this little girl who just wants a happy family.
Emery's role in the story is so crucial. She represents the innocence and vulnerability of childhood, and her desire for a mother figure adds another layer of complexity to Gray and Callie's relationship. It's a reminder that their choices don't just affect them.
Right.
They have ripple effects on everyone around them.
Right. And her attempts to play matchmaker are both adorable and poignant.
I know.
It's like she's trying to create the happy family she so desperately wants, even if Gray and Callie are struggling to figure things out themselves.
And just when you think they might finally have a chance at happiness, bam, another obstacle appears.
Oh, no.
We've talked about Sloane's dramatic reappearance, but now she's threatening to fight for custody of Emery, and that throws everything into turmoil.
Talk about a cliffhanger. It's like the author wants to keep us guessing, to remind us that nothing is guaranteed, even when two people are clearly meant to be together.
It's a reminder that life rarely goes according to plan, that love is often messy and unpredictable. But it also sets the stage for Gray and Callie to prove their commitment to each other and to Emery.
So far, we've explored the emotional roller coaster of Gray and Callie's relationship, their forbidden attraction, the consequences of their actions, the heartbreak of separation, and the fragile hope of reconciliation.
But this deep dive is about more than just summarizing the plot. It's about uncovering the deeper layers of meaning embedded within the story. So let's shift gears a bit and talk about some of the broader themes that Falling for the Single Daddy explores.
Okay. I'm intrigued. I'm always fascinated by how a good romance novel can also offer insightful commentary on life, love, and everything in between. What themes stood out to you?
Well, one of the most prominent themes is overcoming past trauma. Both Gray and Callie are carrying wounds from previous relationships, and those scars shape their perceptions of love and intimacy.
Absolutely. We see how Gray's fear of abandonment stems from Sloane walking out on him.
Right.
And how Callie's experiences with manipulation make her hesitant to trust anyone.
And it's their shared vulnerability that creates a space for understanding and empathy.
Yes.
They recognize each other's pain, and they offer support and encouragement as they navigate the challenges of healing and moving forward.
It's a beautiful example of how love can be a catalyst for growth and transformation.
Yeah.
They help each other to confront their fears and to believe in the possibility of a brighter future.
And another key theme is the importance of trust. After being hurt in the past, both characters are hesitant to open themselves up again. Callie is especially wary of letting her guard down, fearing that she'll be controlled and manipulated once more.
And I think that's something a lot of people can relate to, right? We've all experienced betrayal or heartbreak.
Yeah.
And it's natural to build walls to protect ourselves. But the book also shows how those walls can prevent us from experiencing genuine connection and love.
Exactly. And as their relationship deepens, they have to learn to take risks and to believe in the power of vulnerability. It's a reminder that true love requires a leap of faith, a willingness to let go of the past and embrace the unknown.
And it's not always easy, is it? There are moments where they stumble, where their fears threaten to pull them apart, but ultimately their desire for each other outweighs their apprehension.
And that's what makes their journey so compelling. It's a reminder that love is a process, a series of choices and actions that build upon each other over time. It's not just about grand gestures.
Right.
It's about the everyday moments of trust, kindness, and forgiveness.
Absolutely. And speaking of everyday moments falling for the single daddy, also offers a nuanced look at the complexities of family dynamics.
The book beautifully portrays the challenges and rewards of single parenthood, highlighting the sacrifices Gray makes for his daughter and the deep love that binds them together.
Gray is such a devoted father. He's trying to balance his responsibilities as a parent with his own desires, and it's not always easy.
Yeah.
But his love for Emery is unwavering, and you can't help but admire his dedication.
And then there's the added layer of Callie's arrival, which disrupts the established dynamic.
Right.
She's not just the nanny, she's becoming an integral part of their family, whether they're ready to admit it or not.
Right. And I think that's what makes the story so relatable. It reflects the realities of modern families where roles and relationships are constantly evolving.
And then there's Sloane, the absent mother,
Right.
whose return creates a sense of unease and disrupts the newfound stability. Her presence is a constant reminder of the fragility of their happiness, the potential for everything to come crashing down if she decides to fight for custody of Emery.
It's a realistic portrayal of the complexities of blended families and the emotional toll that divorce and separation can take on everyone involved.
And despite the drama and the heartache, falling for the single daddy ultimately leaves you with a sense of hope. It reminds you that love can conquer even the most difficult obstacles, and that second chances are possible even for those who have been hurt in the past.
Totally. And we've only just begun to explore the depths of this story. But before we dive into the climax and resolution, we'd love to hear your thoughts so far.
What moments have resonated with you? What themes have sparked your curiosity? Share your insights in the comments below, and we'll be right back after a quick break to discuss the ending of this captivating tale.
Okay, so we left off with Sloane, dropping that custody bomb. And it feels like the ultimate test for Gray and Callie, right? Can their love withstand this level of pressure and uncertainty?
It's such a classic narrative device.
Yes.
It's like tossing in this major external conflict.
Right.
Just when the characters think they've found some peace.
Right.
But I actually think it serves a deeper purpose here.
Okay, what do you mean?
Well, up until this point, the focus has been on Gray and Callie as individuals.
Yeah.
And their journey towards trusting each other. But Sloane's threat forces them to think beyond their own desires.
Right.
And consider the impact on Emery.
You're right. It shifts the focus to family.
Yes.
Not just as a romantic ideal, but as a responsibility.
Totally.
A commitment to something larger than themselves.
Exactly. And it's fascinating to see how they respond to this challenge. Like, they could easily crumble under the pressure given to fear and doubt, but instead, they choose to fight. And not just for their relationship, but for the right to create a stable, loving home for Emery.
Oh, that courtroom scene is so intense.
I know.
You see their vulnerability, their determination.
Yes.
And ultimately, their unwavering love for this little girl who has become the center of their world.
What struck me most was the way they present this united front. They've learned to communicate effectively to support each other's strengths and weaknesses. It's as though the threat from Sloane has actually solidified their bond, transformed it into something even stronger and more resilient.
And it's not just about legal strategy, right? It's about proving that they can provide that emotional stability and nurturing environment that Emery needs.
Yes.
They're essentially saying, we may not be a traditional family, but we're a family nonetheless.
Exactly. And ultimately, I think that's the message that resonates most deeply with readers. Falling for the Single Daddy isn't just a romance novel. It's a story about the many forms that love and family can take.
Yeah.
It challenges societal expectations and reminds us that happiness doesn't always come in a neatly wrapped package.
I love how the author uses Callie's character arc to subvert that typical damsel in distress trope.
Oh, absolutely. Callie is anything but passive.
She's resourceful, strong-willed.
Yes.
Determined to create a better life for herself and for Emery.
She's a survivor.
Yeah.
And her journey is like this powerful testament to the strength and resilience of women.
Right. She's escaped a cult, dealt with a manipulative ex-boss, and faced down her own fears and insecurities.
Totally.
And she's not afraid to ask for help when she needs it.
Yes.
Which is a powerful message for women of all ages.
And ultimately, I think that's what makes Falling for the Single Daddy such a satisfying read.
Okay, so I have to ask, what about the ending?
Oh my gosh, the ending.
Did it leave you satisfied?
I won't spoil it for those who haven't read it.
Okay.
But it's a beautifully crafted resolution that ties together all the loose ends and leaves you feeling hopeful and optimistic.
It's not like saccharine sweet, everything is perfect ending.
All right.
But it feels earned, realistic, and ultimately very heartwarming.
And I think the author does a great job of showing that happily ever after doesn't mean the end of challenges or obstacles. Right. It's about finding a partner who will stand by your side, who will support you through the ups and downs and who will help you navigate the complexities of life with love and understanding.
So, Falling for the Single Daddy, more than just a romance novel.
Yes.
It's a story about overcoming adversity, finding love in unexpected places, and embracing the messy, beautiful chaos of family life.
It's a reminder that even those who have been broken by the past can find healing and happiness, and that sometimes the most fulfilling journeys are the ones that lead us back to ourselves, stronger and more whole than we ever thought possible.
I'm so glad we took this deep dive together. It's been a pleasure dissecting this book and exploring all the layers of meaning. And now we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on Falling for the Single Daddy? Did you find yourself rooting for Gray and Callie? What moments resonated with you the most? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future episodes. Until next time, happy reading.